So hi, in this video I will be talking about using music and poetry for sports. Starting from badminton, it can be applied to other things such as basketball and hockey. But I want to specifically start off with badminton because the badminton is easiest to explain. Basically, the whole idea is logic is at the lowest point of enlightenment. Okay, the highest point is art. You want to cross the boundary from logic to art, but it's very difficult. So the idea that a lot of Kung Fu masters they developed was I'm gonna link certain moves to certain things. For instance, even the Chinese language is developed to kind of help you do this. Okay? When you write calligraphy, you write poetry, you're supposed to notice what type of sound it makes. Okay, there's 4 types of sound. Ah, 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 ah. There's 4 types of sounds in Chinese language. So you start with that. You start with whenever I encounter it, ah, I make this move. Whenever I encounter it, ah, make this move. Then you have 4. In badminton, a lot of the time you can start off with this. This is the way to start. Then you focus more on different things like music, listening to music, focusing on the accent. Right? So you're playing badminton, you're focusing on music, you're focusing on when do I accent my shot, when do I staccato my shot, when do I slur my shot, when is there a staccato, when is there a rubato that I'm applying. And so by connecting, your technique has to be sound, right? You cannot have bad technique. Each of these pieces of music that you're going forward with has to be, playable, right? I'm not saying it's not logic. Logic is the lowest level. Logic is the level that everybody is able to do, but only the highest taught people, only the people who know poetry and music, these are royalty. Only these people know the ability to play even calligraphy, poetry. These are the royalty. So these are the people who know this and who can play it. And that is the highest level. That is the level where you're gonna see, you're basically watching poetry in motion. Everything's beautiful, right? Because it has nothing to do with logic. Logic is the farmer's idea. Everybody can do logic. Of course, you need to train your logic to be sound. You're not always going to ignore logic, but at a higher level, eventually you're going to try to go for art. And to go for art, you have to develop your skills. You have to develop your creativity, and you have to develop your artist ability, right? And that means doing calligraphy, focusing on the language, the rhythm of the language, focusing on the rhythm of music that you bring, and then you kind of translate it into badminton. And basketball is also the same thing, but basketball is easier. Basketball, you kind of just listen to music. You can start with simple music like fugues, and then you go on to more complex music, and it kind of improvises. It inspires your playing and your moves. It's already done like that. It's very simple. Badminton, though, it's more difficult because badminton is very much the sword. The sword is very complicated. So that's what I wanted to share. If it doesn't make sense, just think about it and try it. That's the only thing I can say. Thank you.